Well, and we are on. Hi, everyone. Welcome to another High Masterclass. This time for High Masterclass number 29. We are reaching the big number, and we are almost on 30 masterclasses. But before we get to that today, we get to talk about the OutSystems UI validated with our expert in masterclasses, Pedro Oliveira. Hi, Pedro. How are you?
Hello, João. How are you? I'm fine.
I'm really fine too, and I'm really excited to kickstart this masterclass. And before
Let's
we
go.
get, and before we get to Pedro's presentation, let me just say that if you want to get a full guide on this Chrome extension, this plugin that we call our Systems UI Validator, you have on the description of the video a link to Pedro's new article that you wrote about this topic, and also you can scan it here, and that will give you a full guide for this presentation, and you can hear Pedro and also read what he has to say about this plugin. And also, if you want to try the plugin, because it's free to access to everyone, it's also on the description of this video, the link to this Chrome extension. You can check it, you can click it, and you can try it. And also, if you want the presentation that Pedro is having here, you can also have it on the description of the video. You can submit it and download it and have it for further use if you want. And yeah, without further to add, leave a like on this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and share this with everyone. And yeah, Pedro, let's go. Let's kickstart this masterclass today.
Okay, João. Thank you. Nice introduction, as always.
Thanks.
So today we are going uh, to change a little bit the last subject that we had, and we are going to talk about. And for me, it's always a pleasure to talk about this subject because it's something that the company produced. We developed something from the ground, from a single idea that someone had, and we developed something from the ground. So it's always good to see this kind of projects to gain some traction and come to life. So yeah, it's a pleasure to present this extension to all of you. So the challenge here that we face every day, basically, and this has a lot to do with the huge amount of tools that we have, frameworks that we have available to develop. I mean, in every language, okay, we have frameworks for everything, okay, and those frameworks, from day to day, they are getting stronger, and they every day we have more automation features on those frameworks, okay, automation features that help us, that allow us to accelerate our development. And in the last couple of years, we saw also a huge growth on AI. Okay, so those same tools that we use not just automate what we do, but also they started to do code for us, snippets of code for us. Okay, if we don't know how to do something, we just ask the tool to do that for us, and that's fine. That's not a problem. But on top of everything that we have here, the human factor is still, at least uh, the way I see it, it's still the most important factor that we have, because humans are allowed to fail. We understand when a human fails on doing something. but it's harder for us to understand and to comprehend that a tool that we use fails. Okay, I think we can all relate with this. If a tool that we are using fails, for us it's a bug. It needs to be fixed, and if we start having a lot of bugs, probably we not use the tool anymore. Okay, we try to find a new one. But with humans, I don't say that someone is not going to be put out of the office because it does a lot of mistakes, but it's different. Okay, because if I program something to do something, almost 100, I'm almost on 100% sure that something is going to happen. Okay, but when we are talking about humans, even if I'm a huge expert on something, it's very likely for me that at some point in time I'm going to forget something. Okay, it's expected that to happen. Okay, and also a lot of times we see projects that with limited budgets, and that means that even if I have time to do everything, to implement all the features, maybe there's no time allocated to perform quality tests. And sometimes I need to do so much tasks that I'm almost 100% sure I'm going to put aside some other tasks that apparently are not that important. So, and this is also the human factor. Okay, the project manager or someone that is leading the project, it can affect the budget and the time that I have, and less time usually means more problems in the future. So this is basically what we are trying to solve. Okay, this is the starting point. When we start thinking about, okay, we want to develop something like a plugin or an extension, so what can we try to solve? Okay, and basically what we want to achieve here is to help detect the most problems possible as early as possible. Okay, so with this we are reducing the risk of finding some very specific problems in later stages of the development, because they are going to cost a lot more to solve in the end rather than solve in the beginning of the project. So what we are saying is we want to improve, and we want to allow anybody with more or less knowledge to be able to perform a technical depth analysis. Okay? So we want to do this as simple as possible, as clear as possible, so anyone, even if it's someone that is on the quality assurance team, that doesn't know anything about backend, doesn't know anything about front end, don't know what CSS means or HTML means. Okay, we want to be to allow even those people to be able to analyze an application code. Okay, and then give feedback to developers or whatever. So with this in our mind, we developed an extension for Chrome that for now it's not analyzing a lot of it doesn't have a lot of features. Okay, this is like a starting point to test by ourselves and to give the ability to others to help us test this extension and to see, in fact, if this is as useful as we are thinking it's going to be. So we are starting with 3 analysis points. So we are looking, and I mean, before we start developing this, we sat at a table and we heard a lot of feedback from everybody that was involved, to try to see what were the main problems that for us, as mostly as front end developers or UI developers, what were the biggest problems. Okay, the problems that almost in 100% of the projects we find these problems. Okay, these warnings. All right, and we end up that meeting with these three features in our mind. Okay, so currently the extension, it's going to look at the HTML code of the page and look for inline CSS. Okay, so for everybody that is on the business knows that inline CSS, it's usually a big problem if we start thinking about maintenance, fixing issues. So it's very difficult, and inline CSS, it's basically breaking the rule of CSS. Okay, because we want CSS to be almost every CSS to be on the same place. Okay, because we want to reuse CSS in different pages, in different applications. So if we start adding inline CSS, it's not going to be possible. Okay, between brackets, it's not going to be possible, because if I have CSS on my CSS file, it's going to be difficult to overwrite what I have inline. So this is a huge problem in maintenance, in updating styles, everything. Okay, so this is the rule number one, and we are trying to analyze if the application has CSS inline. The second one is the usage of the important attributes. And this is also has a lot to do with maintenance and scalability. Okay, so the important, for those who are not that don't know what it is, basically important is a way for me to say that a CSS attribute that has a lower priority on the CSS cascading style sheet, that has a lower priority, if I put the exclamation mark important after the rule, the CSS rule, my rule, which is lower, it's going to be, I'm going to transform it with a higher importance in the CSS. So usually what I see happening is, when I add the first important in the code, almost for sure it's not going to be the last one. So adding the first one usually means in time I'm going to have a lot of important attributes, and this is very difficult to manage. And this is not promoting scalability, not promoting maintenance. So it's very, very, very difficult to deal with. And the third thing that we analyze by looking at the HTML of a page when the extension is running, and I'm going to show you how, is looking at empty containers in HTML. So I'm not saying that you are not allowed to do any of these three things, or use CSS inline or important or empty, but these are not good practices. Okay, and regarding empty containers, I mean, I know, because I have I'm working with UI and front end for a lot of years, and I also use empty containers and importance and inline CSS from time to time. There are situations where inline CSS is justified. Okay, but still it's not a good practice. Okay, so for example, empty containers for themselves, they don't mean anything to the browser, and they are only occupying space on the HTML document. And if we think about having hundreds and hundreds of empty containers, just because I need them to create I need them or I'm using those empty containers for presentation of a component. I don't know. There's a lot of reasons for this, but it's not a good practice because the HTML DOM is going to be so huge, and it's going to take a lot of effort for the browser to render. So, I mean, nowadays, every millisecond counts when we are rendering a page. And sorry, we know that a lot of times we use our cell phones. And I mean, for today, if we are waiting, I don't know, more than 2 or 3 seconds for a page to open, we usually don't like it, and we forget about that page and go back to, I don't know, to Google search and Google for something else. So every second and every millisecond counts. Okay, so having a lot of empty containers is not helping that. All right. So let's go for the demo, because instead of me talking here, I think it's cooler.
It's demo time, Pedro.
If I really am able to show you how the extension works. So if you go to Chrome Web Store and you search for OS UI Validator, you will have the first result here. Okay, if you want to know a little more about the plugin, the type of data that is collected, everything you need to know, it's here. Privacy policies. Okay, you can look at it, but essentially, probably most of you know how to add a plugin on Chrome. So click on the blue button, add the extension to the browser. And after this, we will receive a small warning. Okay, so now we have the extension on our browser. And to make it always visible here on the browser, you can go click on this, I don't know, this puzzle piece, and click on this pin icon here, and you will have it always here on your hands. Okay, so let's look at how the plugin works and how can we use it to detect this kind of warnings. Okay, and I'm saying warnings, I'm not saying problems, because sometimes, as I said, what the plugin is going to find, if we can justify what we are doing, okay, if we know exactly why we are doing things like this, it's not a problem, it's a feature. Okay, so for example, we have the high knowledge page from High Interactive's website. So if we click on the plugin, it will open the plugin sidebar. Let's just wait a second, it's reloading. Okay, so here's the plugin, and we can see that we already found 16 CSS inline warnings, 0 important rules, and 0 empty containers, which is okay. So if we want to know more, okay, inline CSS, but why are they saying this is important? Okay, we can click on this icon here, and we have some information here about what this warning means, and we have some information on how to solve this. Okay, if you want to learn more, you can click here on the link and you will probably be redirected to an article where we are talking more deeply about this. So we are seeing 16 here, so we can click here to expand all the warnings that we have. And for example, if we scroll down a little and start overing the warnings, we are going to see which element on the page is connected to each warning here on the plugin. Okay, so we see that here on this image, we have a max height of 300 pixels. So if we, for some reason, if we want to fix this or at least test a potential fix, what we can do is hit F12 to open the inspector, the Chrome inspector tools. We can see, okay, this is the image. So we go to elements and we can select the image. And by looking at the code, we can see that, all right, the height is here. So what would happen if I, for some reason, instead of adding this style here, so if we remove it, the image is going to be bigger. But the rule says that I need to use that value, that max height, within a class. So what we can do, for example, is, I don't know, we can try to create a class here, image, I don't know, size, okay? And then I add the class here. Let me see, image size, okay? And add the same attribute, which was max height 300 pixels, okay? So it's going to be exactly the same, okay? And if I refresh, and as you can see, the image is still here, but if I refresh it, let me see, we don't have the height 300 pixels anymore in the image. Okay, so if you want to fix something right away, just for testing purpose, you don't need to reload the page and potentially lost what you did. You can refresh the plugin and it's going to scan again for the issues. All right, so it's cool. Another cool feature is, okay, if you are testing something and you need to for a short period of time, if you don't want to see the plugin, you have this little button here that you can click to show and hide. And basically, this explanation that I did for inline CSS is the same for important rules and containers. Okay, and again, for each one of these, you have a small explanation on the importance and how to fix this. All right. Okay. So as you can see, if we have someone working in a quality assurance team, they don't need to know what height 100% means or what is a translate 3D. No, they don't need to know that. Okay, just need to look at the page of the application that is being developed, and then warn the developers, hey, I'm finding some warnings here on the page you are developing. Because, well, let's think. A lot of times we analyze a page. For example, we perform accessibility analysis to the pages. Okay, we want to know that if two colors, if a foreground color is not colliding with the background color, if we have labels assigned to inputs on forms, all of that. So if we do this with accessibility, why not doing this with our HTML code? It's barely the same. Not barely. It's essentially the same. Okay. So everything together is going to result in better applications. All right. So, in conclusion, as I said, we have warnings, okay, not problems. Because let's say that you have some JavaScript library that you need to use to somehow manipulate an element on the DOM, and you can do that by injecting some styles on a certain element, right? So in that situation, you can justify that, okay, I have inline CSS, I'm positioning an element a little bit to the right or to the left using JavaScript, which is it's a way of doing things. So I'm justifying that warning. So it's not a problem, okay? So basically, what we want is give you this tool that you can use while you are developing. From time to time, look at the plugin or look at the extension, because it will give you instant feedback on what you are doing. Okay, so it's more easy to you to stop forgetting about these things. Okay, you have a tool helping you to, hey, you are forgetting about this. You forgot about an important. Do you really need this important, or isn't there a better way of doing these UI components instead of using an empty container? I mean, you can use like an SVG or something like that, or pseudo elements in CSS instead of empty containers. Okay, so and yes, we are planning to add more features, more types of validations. We will see how the extension grows, and yeah, we have a couple more to add within the next month. So yeah, keep following us and to see what we have in our minds to give more muscle to this plugin or extension, whatever.
Yeah, but I suggest you to download it now and try the things that
It's free. It's free, all right?
yeah. What can you ask more for then? Then yeah.
It is.
So, anyways, Pedro, thanks for the
Yeah.
presentation. I think that the ones that really got the best from this plugin and are now. Do you think that they are now ready to use it on their websites and on their projects? You feel?
Yes, obviously.
I I
I mean,
I, I also
you
feel
just
that
need to
way.
be able to install it on your browser. Even if you are using like a VPN or something, there's no problem. It's local in your browser. So even if you have B2B applications, internal applications that you need to have an idea, or legacy applications, things that are so old that you have no idea what's there,
Yeah.
you can try it and be amazed with the incredible code that your elder made like 10 years ago. I mean, web 10 years ago was very different from what we have now. Okay,
Sure.
so don't blame anybody using inline and empty containers like 10 or 15 years ago, because by that time it was what we have by that time.
Yeah, it
We
was.
don't know better, but now we do. And we have a lot of tools that can assist us understanding where are the the that assist us is why our application is slow,
Yeah. Yeah.
and where are the problems that are making our application slower. And sometimes that problem has a lot to do with this kind of situations, issues, or call it warnings. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll call it warnings for now on. So yeah,
Yeah,
but yeah, and if you tried the plugin, you can also drop the feedback on the comment section of this video. We will love to hear from you trying it. and also give it a 5-star review on the Chrome Web Store. We would appreciate it now that we are launching it.
If you
So
like the extension, yes.
yeah,
If you like it,
only
why
if you
not?
like it. But yeah, so anyways, thanks Pedro, thanks for the ones
Thank
that
you.
who stood by till the end of this presentation. Don't forget to drop us a like, and see you on the next one, on the my
Yeah.
masterclass number 30. So yeah, bye bye, see ya.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. See ya.